How's it going, everybody? This is Griever back here, bringing you guys the latest in the Behind the Bar reviews. And this week's chapter of 7 Deadly Sins, chapter 296, is a little different than I think we all expected. Certainly not what I expected. To start off, we have a cover page with King looking like a drag queen for some damn reason. Like, why does he look like he's going to say to me, L'Oreal, because I'm worth it, in this cover page, rather than, I don't know, being the Elvis Presley, king of rock and roll badass, king, pun not intended, sort of idea that I've come to love him for? I have no idea. I don't know why he's been drawn in this very feminine sort of thing in the cover page, but it doesn't bleed into the chapter, so whatever. Cover pages aside, let's get into it, because here's where I thought that the original demon was scheming a little bit. Like, he had the fusion and stuff, but then again, I'm still questioning why he was able to do the fusion with no necessary, from what we've seen, repercussions, no consequences of him refusing back to the betrayer. So, I'm still weary of this guy. I still think his motives, we have yet to see the full extent of what the original demon's plan is. I don't think he's necessarily 100% subservient to the Demon King and his sons, but we'll table that for another time. The point of the matter is that he did not stop the commandments from going into the cocoon. So now the cocoon has the commandments, and everyone's going, well, damn. Everyone's like, we're too late, and the original demon Christ, the sinner Christ, the next Demon King shall be born! And I'm like, alright, cool. I thought we were going to wait till chapter 300 to see the reveal of the new Meliodas. But if it happens now, okay, whatever. Of course, Merlin has to pull some, and I know on the podcast, the Boar's Hat podcast, guys, go subscribe to it. It's great. It's Grimm's channel. Wonderful. Go subscribe to the Discord. Links will be in the description down below for both. In the podcast for the Boar's Hat, I know this is going to be a topic of discussion, but I'm just going to say this because it's my own review. Another Deus Ex pull-out-the-ass spell from Merlin, apparently to stall for chapter 300. Okay, whatever. We're not going to... This is not a hate Merlin video. So, I'm not going to sit here and try to persuade the people that say, no, don't, like, the explanation is there, sort of idea, and I'm also not going to sit here and I'm not going to defend it. I'm not going to, hate on it. I'm just going to say, bad writing. Once again, Merlin pulls out her Game Shark and pulls a spell that just so happens to affect a process that's never been seen before, as far as we know, assuming that the Demon King is the first Demon King. This cocoon of merging 10 commandments has never been seen before. But this specific spell, the chrono time cocoon, whatever it's called, or the chrono coffin, can suppress the time of the cocoon, even though that this is a once in a lifetime, never before seen thing. Whatever. Suffice it to say, she's trying to slow down the process of Meliodas in the cocoon. And, of course, the original demon and Eldris are trying to stop. Escanor and King get in the way. Escanor going up against the original demon, while King goes up against the hand of the Demon King, Zeldris. Now, here's where things get a little dicey. We go and see Rudessiel and Hendrickson. And Rudessiel and Hendrickson are having a conversation where he's kind of in the woes of despair. Not Hendrickson, Rudessiel, saying, if he becomes the Demon King, all bets are off. It's lost right now. Escanor himself doesn't have enough strength right now. Like, he's very clear of Escanor's strength and what he has potential of, but he knows that he's using a reserve sun. The sun that's been reserved, sort of idea, inside of the axe, the divine axe Rita. He doesn't have the current strength level, and we haven't seen power levels, but I think we all surmised from the last couple chapters that Escanor is not at full peak. He's not at full strength, regardless of the one form. He's not at that full peak where he can go toe-to-toe with this guy. Rudessiel realizes this and says, so, right now, what do we have? I'm amazed Merlin can even do what she's attempting to do to stop time in regards to the coffin. He's very amazed and thinks it's kind of a long shot, like a Hail Mary pass, and goes on to say that Escanor is not at the strength level capable of taking on the original demon toe for toe. Plus, King, though he's very powerful, cannot take on both of them. So when Escanor fails, all hope is going to be lost because King cannot defend against both of them, even if he can somehow succeed against one. So clearly the matchups are not in their favor. The interesting part that I want to talk about, it's very interesting because Hendrickson calls Rudessiel, are you so cowardly? Is this the way of the angels? Blah, blah, blah. And Rudessiel goes on to say that without the supreme deity, the Demon King's power is absolute. So, hold on a minute. Hold on. Like, we're going to get into the rest of the chapter, but from that initial thing, without the supreme deity. So, without that deity. So not only was the Demon King locked in purgatory somehow, but apparently the supreme deity has also been locked away in some place that nobody can reach. Maybe the goddess realm has been locked and sealed away from other planes is what they're referring to. Or perhaps there's another similar to purgatory, how there is the mortal realm, purgatory, and the demon realm. Perhaps there's an in-between between the goddess realm and the mortal plane, and that's where the supreme deity is also locked. But from this sentence, I gather that the supreme deity is not reachable by the archangels, and that is a big thing. But why? Who locked these two powerhouses away? We cannot give this all to Wheelchair Gother unless he pulled some stunt that we're not aware of yet. How did Wheelchair Gother truly end the Holy War? The Holy War has been claimed to have been ended because of the use of the Coffin of Eternal Darkness. But that does not explain all the threads, not all the plot threads. How did everything else go? How did this all end up? Why were the other goddesses sealed away? I'm very curious about this line. I want to know more. And I'm hoping that the next chapter we get a hugely heavy Hunter x Hunter / One Piece dialogue heavy chapter with an exposition explaining the realms, or at least where is the Supreme Deity? Why isn't she appearing? Clearly the Demon King cannot set foot outside of Purgatory for some reason. And I would like to know who locked these two gods away? Was that Mama Hawk? That's a theory. The Mother of Chaos maybe had enough, and she destroyed the balance by locking away the balance. The yin and yang, forget it. She's the middle side of that coin. She's a coin, there's yin, there's yang. She's that little in-between, that gray area. And she's like, nope, I've had enough. And she locks away both of them. I don't know. It's very interesting, and I want you guys to post your theories down in the comment section down below. Am I reading too much into the line said by Rudessiel? Is it a translation error even? Or is there something more to it? Am I missing a key piece of information, or am I onto something? Let me know down in the comment section below. Now, outside of this, we do have a buttload of information to go down through, but I'm going to summarize it very quickly. Go read the chapter, ladies and gentlemen. Just go read the chapter. Few things we learned. Number one, apparently Rudessiel is not into guys. I think, Nakaba had to put that in there because a lot of people were on the forums. I think he must be on somebody's Discord. He must be in some forums. He must be on some message boards or YouTube, whatever, because he clearly had to make that legit, like Hendrickson and him neither one of them are gay, they're not into guys sort of idea. So that's plus 1 point for the team that always said he wasn't gay, whatever. He's still a genocidal maniac, but nonetheless, apparently, is not gay. So, that's the thing. The other thing to unravel here is the fact that Rudessiel always wanted to just win the war. It wasn't about necessarily genocide to him. There was there's a lot of conflicts and stuff, and all this is trying to do is make us sympathize with the character. I don't. I'm sorry. He's a genocidal maniac who wouldn't take the time, like Elizabeth begged him to do, over, we can assume, years, decades, centuries, to reason with demons. I mean, he may have good reasons to not. However, he went down, his mind has gone too dark. And that's just the fact. And regardless what he thinks now, right now he's in the depths of despair even. And I don't sympathize with his character. I still think he's insane. I still think he's got to be put to the sword. Regardless what good he does now, it's in the same light as Hendrickson, except Rudessiel doesn't honestly believe that he's done anything wrong. He thinks that all atrocities he has committed has been for a better cause, for the great cause. And he's delusional in that way. At the very least, Hendrickson is more redeemable than him because Hendrickson knows everything he has done has been wrong. He doesn't try to justify what he's done. And he even explains to Rudessiel he had to save those two because he was the one who made their life misery, who tore them apart. So he had to be the one to set things right. He couldn't let Rudessiel play with them any longer. Fair story, kind of weaving back to a full circle. I'm good. Connecting points. I like it. The other main point that is brought up is the fact that he does not want to use Hendrickson as his vessel. Once again, trying to make us feel like Rudessiel's not all bad, a sympathy effort here. He explains about his friend who was also naive and compassionate and stuff and sacrificed himself for another, who I have been told in Grimm's Discord that some people are assuming that possibly has the bearings of Rosa, who is of course, the character who helped Escanor as a young boy into the barrel and escape the kingdom of which they were trying to kill him when he showcased Sunshine, the ability of his magical power. It's hard to tell. It's too soon to tell because, once again, these flashback things with these single panel things and Nakaba's drawing style does not leave a whole lot for particularities, shall we say. For example, a lot of Oda's female drawings are quite similar. And sometimes it's a little hard to distinguish from a single panel who's who when given similar hairstyle. So I am not doubting that it could be Rosa, but I don't think there's any evidence to suggest that it is Rosa. I mean, it could be, but I believe that this happened long before Male, but then you could make my argument about the theory of Rosa, Sunshine, etc., which please go check that video out. So, I know I'm dragging on here a little bit, guys, but it's definitely an interesting panel. And I'm not going to say yay or nay to people saying that's Rosa or people who are saying it's not. I'm just going to table it for now. I think I need more evidence. I think I need some detail, some context as to why people think it. I can't honestly think of a reason other than coincidence to connect all the dots, connect the backstories of all the characters together in a neat little bow, which necessarily isn't the best writing idea to write an epic, to write a story. Not every character needs to be connected through their backstories. Usually that's a recipe for disaster and lazy writing. So I'm on the fence to say that it's Rosa, but either way. Point of the matter is that he uses Invigorate on Hendrickson, heals him, and basically plays the tough guy routine saying, live Hendrickson, you are not going to be my vessel. You're too weak. He insults him in a way of trying to say, like, I'm not going to use you as a vessel. You're a nice guy, sort of idea. Once again, don't feel sympathy for the guy. Still a maniac, but they're trying. Nakaba is trying to make us feel something for this character, and I'm not buying it. Regardless how sincere it may or may not be, you sold me on this guy being Hitler 2.0, and it's going to take a long time for you to change my thinking of the 2.0. He might be down to Hitler 1.8 at this point, but you know, you got a lot more points to bring down before I'm convinced. Now, the last part of the chapter jumps into the battle between the Sinner Demon and Escanor more acutely, and in the fact that Escanor cannot hold his own, as Rudessiel predicted. And I don't think any of us expected him to be able to. He's been getting basically washed by this guy the entire time. Once again, this is a reserved version of the sun. This is like he's going on reserves. It's not the real sun. It's not his full strength. We don't have any indication of what amount of power level he's at, but suffice it to say, by the looks of his body build, it's probably under 100,000. And how's he going to fight this thing? So he's managing to block and hold his own a little bit, but for the most part, just take a beating. He gets shot into the sky with this death attack by the Sinner Demon. Everyone's scared for him. Rudessiel, of course, shows up in spirit form. Clearly did not take Hendrickson as a vessel. I don't think anybody called that, but I think we all assumed that Hendrickson would be taken as the vessel. Kind of a twist given to us by Nakaba in that way. But he says, I don't know how long I'll be able to maintain spirit form and be able to hold this type of level of power. But suffice it to say, I can hold him at bay for a little bit. So go ahead, Merlin. So Rudessiel's back in the fight. That's pretty cool. I think we all wanted to see Rudessiel in his real form do some combat. So that's kind of cool. I'm not upset about that. We see that, of course, Escanor's Rita has now been cracked. It's been not destroyed, but cracked to the point, and he drops it. So then, once again, of course, because the Black Knight spell is still in effect by the looks of it, he reverts back to his nighttime form, his weakest state. And that's a serious problem, of course. He has a bit of an inner monologue, which is quite interesting, where he states, I knew that a man like me could not really protect anybody. But I would give my powers, my grace, my magical power, my form, all that stuff, my life, just to protect not just Merlin, the captain as well. Because once again, remember, the two people that truly accepted him from the get-go was not just Merlin. He has romantic feelings for Merlin, but Meliodas once again gave him a home. It wasn't Merlin. He found solace in Merlin, but Meliodas provided him a place to be, a place to call home. And that still to this day resonates with him. So I think it's very good of the character to have that monologue and say, I would give up the sun. I would give it all up just to be able to save and protect the captain and Merlin. Those are the two most important people in his life. And that's so good. I like that. I like that Nighttime Escanor. And we've seen Nighttime Escanor. Look at him. He's beaten and broken like we've seen him multiple times. The man does not give up. This guy's got better durability than Immortal Bond. This guy's got durability up the wazoo. Smacked by a 20,000 power level Gallon that crippled Merlin, killed Meliodas, destroyed Deanne, made Gother and Slater look like bitches. This guy backhanded him into the wall. He woke up. You know, like, this guy takes hits. He is endurance, durability. Something else going on here. Still saying that. I don't know what it is. I'm excited for it. Nonetheless, this is where the other half of that sun comes into play. Because he says and catches our Lord Escanor in his arms. Mael, the fourth archangel, catches Escanor just in time. Says, funny that we should meet like this again, Escanor? Sort of idea. It's kind of like, alright, these two. And of course, Mael is referring to the fact that he met Esther. A lot of people will probably go fan theory on this, and they'll say, oh, Mael remembers Escanor from a time. No. Escanor was born 30, 40 years ago at the most. I forget his age, I always do. But let's call it 35 years. So, 35 years ago, Mael was Estarossa at the time, locked in the coffin of eternal darkness. They never met before. He's referring to when he met him as Estarossa. Funny that it's ironic we would meet in these circumstances. The sun is basically whole again, back together. And the title of the next chapter, chapter 297, because this is the end of the chapter. Chapter 297 is the salvation of the sun. This is worrisome for me. This is either going to be what I predicted and another fusion, and I predicted this, a fusion into the wanted poster version of Escanor. Beard, ponytail bangs, ready to go, 4 wings, Rita in one hand, shield in the other, and looking like a boss. Doesn't even need the one form. He's just going to own everything. And it's going to be a Mael Escanor fusion into the true form of sunshine itself. That was my prediction a few chapters ago, a few podcasts ago. I really want it to come true. Is it likely? No. But the title of the next chapter has me worried. Do not give the sun, the power of the sun to Mael. Do not do it. I don't care how many people are hyped to see Mael at full form again, because Escanor is the one who has maintained it. Escanor has been the one who it has been his damnation and his curse. He has treated it as a curse. To Mael, he was always praised with it. He has not gone through the suffering. To give it up now would insult the character, in my mind. And I don't think we've seen the last of Lord Escanor, the daytime form, the pride, Lionston of Pride Escanor. Now, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section down below, because I'm very curious. I think this chapter, once again, similar to the last one, though not as many plot threads opening up, I think we still have plot threads weaving their way into different avenues than we all thought. So I'd be very interested to hear your guys' theories and predictions for the next chapter. What do you guys think of the review, the chapter? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Please like, subscribe, comment. As always, it's always very much appreciated. And once again, go check out the Boar's Hat podcast, which I am usually a frequent guest on. It's a great podcast with a great group of Tai-Zai lovers. We're all great. We all review and love the series, and a lot of insight goes into that podcast. So check that out. Link in the description down below. Once again, this has been Griever with your Nanatsu no Tai-Zai Chapter 296 review. Drink responsibly as always, and we'll see you back here next time.